If that
That
long.
never happens.
Yeah, if that long, Mr. Mike. So the lady, when I drop her down on the ground, the lady, she must have saw what happened. She jumps out of the car. She's giving her the CPR. Then the fire station comes up. And so the guy comes over, my mother's like, she's going to be all right. She's going to be all right. And he said, I remember him saying this. He said, well, ma'am, I really don't know. But what I can tell you is, if they're still there, that means they're still working on her. She has a chance.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back to another episode of Mike Unplugged, Igniting Your Future. I'm your host, Mike. I'm back with a special guest with us. This young lady has been a relationship expert since 1998, a certified matchmaker, certified strategic intervention coach, Gottman Institute of 7 Principles of Making Marriage Work leader, graduate of Liberty University with a degree in business administration, CEO and co-founder of Select Date Society, a multi-million-dollar business, recognized as American Heart Association Woman of Impact in 2022. Her business donates a portion of their profits to the American Heart Association. A beautiful mother to a very beautiful young lady, introducing Amber Lee.
Thank you.
Hi, Amber. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
I love that you called me a young lady.
That's
that
right.
Was the best part of the
You are definitely a young lady. She is the better half, I'm going to say. Yeah. The better half
Yes, she is.
of Mike. And they have an amazing story, and I can't wait to get into it. But before we do, we're going to have a little toast. And the choice of alcohol that I chose is Uncle Near's. I didn't know the history of it, and I'm finding out, and I believe the CEO is Miss Weaver. Miss Weaver, if you hear this, let's talk. I heard your story. I want to plug your book, and I would really love to bring you onto the show. She has an amazing story. And I'm coming to Tennessee. No, we agreed.
We're going to Tennessee.
We're making a trip to Tennessee to come out there and hang out at the...
Are your wives invited?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm not getting in that trouble.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let me see if I remember this one. Mike, this one is yours.
Thank you, man.
Amber, this is yours.
I do not normally do dark alcohol, but since it's a female-led company, I'm doing it.
There you go.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
outstanding. So, salute. Salute. To friendship and family.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Ah, that's good. That's good. You want to drink the rest?
I hold on.
No, I can't. You'll drink yours for sure. Yeah.
So, Amber, let's just get started and jump right in. Where are you from?
I am from Greenville, Michigan, tiny little town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about it.
So I grew up in this little town, like an hour outside of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
All white people. No diversity whatsoever. I couldn't wait to get out of there. In fact, I went to college when I was 16. I was like, I'm out of here as soon as I get the opportunity.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Where'd you go to college at?
In Massachusetts.
Did you?
Simon's Rock College of Bard.
Okay.
Which is a small liberal arts college, like 400 students. And I was so happy to see Black and brown people and
Right,
gay
diversity.
people. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's a whole new world for me.
Right. Tell me this, is Greenville still very small, isolated?
Yeah. Mike and I have
I would
had
say yes.
had a run-in in Greenville. Yes, it's still a very conservative small town America.
Well, we're going to help change Greenville.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Greenville. I'm not messing with you.
Still some good people there.
Yeah, we've got good people there. My friend Mandy lives there.
Oh,
She
really?
still
That's
lives
what Mandy
there.
is? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Mandy, I'm counting on you to bring up... No, I won't say that.
Yeah, we can't count on Mandy.
Okay, Mandy. I'm going to leave you alone. What kind of kid were you?
I was a smart kid. I love being the teacher's pet. So opposite of my daughter,
Okay.
who doesn't care at all about earning like the love and respect of her teachers. Yeah, I think I was a good kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you active or were you quiet? Did you stay in your room and read books?
A little of everything. I mean, I definitely was an avid reader. I played softball. My dad coached my softball team when I was younger. And then when I got to high school, I played basketball. I was
outta
a
here.
small forward.
Yeah, she got a J.
Can she shoot, Mike?
No, I can't shoot, but I can box somebody out and rebound.
can't shoot,
I
though.
can beat you in a game of
so you
pig
got a
for
J.
sure.
Wait a
Can't
minute
shoot.
now.
Yeah, I know it's a little
She beat
unfair.
the blind
but
guy right, but she does
I'm
have
proud of it.
I am proud of
a
it.
little crazy, but that's her. Can't beat you, but
That's pretty funny.
that's how she do it. Yeah.
So, what would your mom say you were as a kid?
My mom would say that I gave her a run for her money.
Yeah.
She would say I was a horrible teenager.
Would she?
She would say she was a brat.
Yeah.
That's exactly what your
Yeah,
mother
she
said.
would.
She's a little
Was she?
brat.
Yeah.
I have not. I've seen your mom, but I have not had the opportunity to meet her yet. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And what do you call you? You call her mom.
Yeah.
What would I call her?
Miss Hanson or Pam.
Miss Hanson.
I mean, we're white, so you could call her by her first name.
There we go. There we go.
Okay.
I don't call her by her first name, but she wouldn't care if you
The
did.
jokes have already begun.
Miss Hanson. My mom would strain me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do that.
I'm looking forward to meeting you and getting a real story that Amber's not telling me everything. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so you heard me read off your accomplishments. And I know some people are maybe sitting and waiting for, what's the story? What's the story? Just hold on, because there's a story. There's definitely a story. But tell us, who is Amber Lee?
I am, well, first and foremost, a wife and a mother. I try to be good at those jobs, so I suck at them. I'm parenting, especially.
You're great at it, yeah.
Being a spouse and a parent, those are the hardest jobs on earth. I'm really good at my real job, running my business, my matchmaking firm. Mike will tell you I'm a workaholic, but it's what gives me joy. Like, it doesn't feel like work because I love it. I'm super invested in it. And I love to travel, and I'm pretty adventurous and probably have all these wild ideas, which is why my husband's a good balance, because you roll with a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of times he slows me down when I want to do crazy stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It does get crazy.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, Mike and Amber are neighbors in Puerto Rico, and I'm fighting really hard to keep it that way. But worst case scenario, she'll be around the corner.
Yeah. Or a golf cart right away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're getting a big enough house where we can just move in. So,
I'll need them right. Yeah.
so either way, I know you have a lot of friends that come to visit,
do.
but if they move, we're getting one of the rooms.
We got you.
All right, let's transition a little bit. And I'm excited about this story that I've heard a couple times. So don't hold nothing back on it. This is a question for both of you guys. How did you meet, and what city were you in?
Well, I'll tell you the city, Baltimore.
Baltimore, Maryland, 2010.
And I will tell you this. When I left Baltimore, I cried. I love that city. And I'll let her tell you the rest of the story.
So in, I think it was May. So we're almost on our anniversary of when we
Absolutely.
met.
Okay.
So in May of 2010, I was going on my lunch break to get groceries, walked to a neighborhood grocery store. Where was it at?
Fresh Market.
In Charles and Saratoga.
Charles and Saratoga.
Yep.
Charles and Saratoga under Charles Towers. It was called Fresh Market, right?
Yeah, I think it was Fresh
Market,
Market. And I am checking out. I have my groceries at the checkout, paying for everything. And I look over and I see this tall, handsome man. He had on a suit, like a blazer, jeans, cowboy
Was it me?
boots.
That was me.
I was going
was
to say,
you.
didn't you saw Mike? Or no, that
No,
wasn't
no,
him?
that was Mike.
was me?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
And
Wait. Tell me, how was he dressed again?
he had a blazer, jeans, cowboy boots. He looked so handsome.
This guy from a speaking engagement.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I was wondering, did you dress like that to go grocery shopping?
Yeah, well, back then I did. I was always dressed up.
Picking up girls.
Yeah, I was always dressed up.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah. He always was dressed up, suited and booted all the time. But I saw him a matchmaker, so I looked down to see if he has a wedding ring. He doesn't. And I was like, oh, he's really cute. Something was like drawing me to him.
Right.
Paid for my groceries, walked out of the store, and I'm not kidding. It's very woo-woo, but I like stopped in my tracks. I had like this overwhelming feeling like I was meant to know him, to the point where I turned back around, went in the store and found him. He was by the melons, as he likes to say.
By the melons. Checking out the melons.
Checking the melons out?
Checking the melons out, but yeah.
And he has this assistant that's helping him get his groceries because he is blind. And so I said to the guy, I was like, hey, can you excuse us for a minute? And I was like, hey, I just wanted to come say hi. I'm a matchmaker. I was wondering if you were single. And he looked at me and he said, the question is, are you single?
Oh, did he get
Like,
that
all
very
serious.
light voice?
Yes, yes.
She always says that. I didn't change my voice.
You did. You were so sexy and smooth.
No, I wasn't. I just said, the question is, are you single? I'm just as regular as.
No.
But she always, like, you did. Oh, the question is, are you single? I didn't say
He
that.
did. And then I was all nervous. He made me all nervous.
made
I
you
was
nervous?
shaking.
She was nervous, though. I will say that.
Yeah.
But I didn't turn her very white on. I was just normal. And she said, well, yes. And then she asked, can you see me?
Yeah, because I
Directly
had on a
after that.
baseball cap and sweatpants
I
that
said,
day.
no, not really. She said, well, I don't look that well because I just came from the gym, this, that, and the other. I said, okay, well, that's fine. So maybe we can get together and connect. And
We exchanged
You
numbers.
were,
and
you
that
were
was
worried
it.
about if you could see your appearance?
Yeah.
she said that.
Didn't matter.
It
It
didn't
didn't
matter. She's
matter.
a pretty lady. But, I found that out many days after that because I asked my guy how she looked. He told me.
Oh, you didn't?
He said it wasn't your type.
No, Joe
Oh,
did say
Joe,
it. Joe,
yeah.
my guy Joe. And Joe was actually there when we went on our first date.
Yeah, one of his friends was
Yeah.
there when we
He was
went
at
to
the
meet
house.
for our first date, so he could tell him what I looked
No,
like.
he was staying at the
No,
house.
he was there
that's
so
not
he
the
could
story.
tell.
That's what you had
No,
from
Mr.
Mike?
Mike. He just happened to be staying at the house that
He just
weekend.
happened to be there. Yeah.
Had nothing to do with that. I was confident with it.
Because if it had been me, I would have pulled my assistant to the side and said, hey, tell me.
I did that too.
He
But
did that too.
He don't know. It's just a guy working
Young
in the
guy.
grocery store.
Oh,
Young
he
guy.
just worked in
But
the
he said she
grocery
looked good though. He said, muy bien. He spoke Spanish. He said,
Okay, oh, see, it was connection made right from the beginning.
He said, bonita, muy bonita, muy bien. That's what he said. Yeah.
All right, so would you say to you, Amber, that when you met him, you was like, this is the guy, or did it take time down the road?
No, I think I knew right away. Like, I felt like, I mean, I didn't like go home and say I'm going to marry him, but
Right.
I knew like he was my person. I knew we were meant to be in each other's lives.
That was the third date. She said third date. I think I met my husband.
No. He said to me after we had 3
It was the
dates, and I was
third date.
flying home to Michigan to
Your
be.
grandmother passed
My
away.
grandmother passed away. I was flying home, and he walked me to my apartment that day, and he kissed me so passionately, like
Mike.
almost like pushed me up against the wall.
She messed us up.
Yes, and kissed me, and he said, "I think I met my wife." He did. He did. I don't know why he acts like he
That makes
forgot
me
that.
laugh so hard.
You did do
First
that.
of all, I'm blind. I would never throw you up against the wall.
Well, you didn't throw me. You like pushed me back though. You were being so sexy. You're like, I think I met my
That
wife.
makes me laugh so much.
You did
Because
it.
what you told me was I don't want to leave. I think I met my husband.
I did not
And I
say
said, That's a
that.
little much.
No, I did
That's
not.
a bit much.
I did not.
Yeah. Well, somebody said it, so we found it.
Well, then somebody was you.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Of course.
So.
Mike, if you remember, we're going to come back to this later. We talked about, or I said, Amber, that I truly believe that our path or destiny is meant to be. And you said there was something that draws you, that made you say, no, go back. I think we're going to be, or I connected it, that there was a reason why that. And I think it's going to come out later on in the show because of that connection that you're sitting here today.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's see. Mike, I'm gonna give this one to you first. Tell us about the first date.
Well, what I remember to be our first date is at Macy's.
That was our third date.
Well, to me, that's my first date. I don't know what happened the other 2 times. I don't know, but this stands out in my mind because she's not a talkative person, but she talked almost 3 hours that night.
Really?
It was amazing, and I don't think she's ever talked that
We
much.
drank
since
a
then.
bottle of wine.
So we had a bottle of wine. We were sitting in a nice spot on Charles Street, and she just talked and talked. And a part of it might have been because she was nervous,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was a moment when I fell in love too, just because I got to know who she was.
Okay.
But I also thought she was a little poo-poo because how much she was talking. But I said, okay, I'm here for it. But yeah, I remember that day.
She didn't scare you off, is what you
No,
said.
she didn't. I was drawn to her after that. But looking back, that's the most she's ever talked. Outside of that, she's just kind of quiet and reserved. But yeah, she gave me her heart that night.
So you said it was the third date that you had to leave town?
Yeah, after that date.
Yeah.
After
Yeah,
that date.
yeah.
Okay, so the talking worked.
Yeah.
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 So it sounds to me, I mean, she's been in the business since 1998, that she used her skills on you, Mike.
No, here's the thing. You would think that, Mr. Mike, but she's tried, and I'm wise enough to know she's using something that she's learned.
You haven't said it in a long time. He used to always say, "Don't do that work talk on
Yeah,
me."
that's what I call it. work
Yes, all the time.
Because she doesn't do it as much as she used to, but she's doing
Well, she
a
got
lot.
you now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
every now and then I'm like, yo, come on, be cool, because she's doing work talk. every now and then I hear her saying it, but it's about something else. And I said, you got that from a podcast, that's work talk. But she stopped doing it on me as much because she knows it doesn't work. She knows I'll call her out. But when we first got together, she did it all the time. And that's what I would say to her. Don't work talk me.
Yeah.
So she would do it. Yeah, she'd try her little tricks. Yeah.
Well, I think I tried that with my wife too. I mean, I would tell her to fall into formation. Push-ups.
Yeah, give me 20.
Yeah. None of that worked. I got that side. I didn't do that. I'm just kidding. Mike and I talked earlier. We talked about, and we both agreed on this, and we're quite proud of it. We actually bragged about this, that we are mama boys.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So.
She don't like it. She doesn't like it.
No, I do like it. I do like it.
And Miss Lee, I've met Miss Lee, and I love her to death. The short time that I've spent with her, I can tell she's direct.
Yep.
And I think I spanked her in spades. I'm not sure.
She would probably remember it differently.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Of course.
You did.
Tell me about the first time meeting his mom.
I met his mom in Hampton, Virginia, at her home. You took me home.
Yeah.
I later found out he took lots of girls home, so it was nothing special.
How'd you find that out?
His mom.
She told
She
you?
told everything.
Yeah.
She tells everything.
Yeah.
So
Wait, hold on. She said, "Oh, you're not the first one to come."
Well, I mean, as we dated, she came up.
Wasn't
that-
the first.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So he wasn't that cautious about bringing people home, so I don't think it was that significant to her or to him.
it
But,
was. And I told her how I felt about you. I didn't say the same thing about everybody. Well, obviously, you were married, so it meant
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, Mr. Mike. One time we had my mother cooked for her famous quiche. Her famous shrimp quiche, yes.
a shrimp and crab.
Crab meat quiche is delightful, actually. So she made quiche. She cut Amber a little slice.
I didn't eat fish at that
And
time.
Amber said, not eat it, too fishy.
I said, it smells kind of fishy.
I said, what?
That's not gonna go good.
Mr. Mike, I said, what? On the inside of me, I said, what just happened, bro? And my mother looked like, I said, this ain't gonna work. Maybe this might be your last time in the house, maybe. Yeah, it might be your last time in the
I
house.
think Jalen saved me because
Yeah.
our daughter is so beautiful and
That's so
precious.
crazy,
and Miss Lee
man.
loves her so much, so maybe
Jalen
she
ate it up.
overlooked some
Yeah.
things.
That was so crazy. But, she doesn't understand Southern hospitality.
Yeah, I grew up
Yeah.
in
She
a
don't know that.
household where
Whereas you and I would know.
Yeah, I grew up in the North. We weren't we called people Mr. and Mrs., but my parents weren't big on it was a different culture for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
Miss Lee and I are fine now.
Oh, I know,
She's like
I
the
know.
best mother-in-law ever.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and now
good.
she was after that she ate quiche, so
Yeah, actually, she's introduced me to all kinds of stuff. She's taught me to how to cook and
what you know how to make now?
jerk chicken,
Okay.
mac and cheese.
Yeah.
You know how to make mac and cheese?
Collard greens. I make
Get
the
outta
best
here.
collards.
Do you really?
That's
A
what she
little bit
does.
of kick to them. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to trying them.
Okay. You can find them in Puerto Rico. I can never find them at grocery stores there.
You're right. I've never had them in Puerto
But
Rico.
sometime you'll come to Virginia and we'll cook them for
Throws
you.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that. I'm glad to hear that because I've been married for a day or two and I do the collard greens,
As you should, though, because you get the good Puerto Rican food.
but that's a trade-off. All right, Mike. So how about you meeting in Greenville?
Yeah.
In Greenville,
Yeah.
You flew to Greenville.
No, I think you met my dad first.
I met his father, her father first in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her father
What, he
father
came
and
to see
mother,
you?
yeah. He came
Yeah,
to see
they came to
see
visit.
her and the grandbaby. He brought his girlfriend at the time,
Yeah,
remember?
Lucy.
And we went to
Okay. Whoa. So they weren't married together.
No, my parents were married 30 years. They got divorced when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So her father came to town, and he brought his girlfriend at the time, Lucy. Yeah, I remember all that,
Yeah,
Lucy.
yeah.
And we had crabs.
Yes.
We
at
went to the
Inner
Inner
Harbor.
Harbor and we had crabs. He's a delightful man.
Yeah.
He's passed away since, but he was a good man.
Yeah.
Good man. And we had a good time. We had the baby out there. We hung out. And at the time, I was just getting to know Jalen as well. So for me, it was difficult to be around Jalen because she wasn't as expressive as a young
She was
child.
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even when she got older, she's
Yeah.
just as she is now. She's kind of quiet.
she's
She's
quiet.
always been that way. But Amber says she used to look at me, and she used to look at me with love.
Smile.
She liked me to pick her up and hold her and stuff. So, but I never knew she was happy in my presence, and I realized that's just who she is as a person. And now I understand that and understand what that is.
My dad said, I know Mike is a good guy because Jalen smiles so big when he walks in the room.
Oh,
so that,
see,
that
with
told him a
with her
lot.
hands slobbering her fingers, looking at
Yeah.
me.
you are a good man and you are a great woman as well, Amber. So you guys make a dynamic team. So that's great. So now you meet mom. You meet her mother.
Yeah.
So
I
has she already got
remember-
the scoop on you?
I remember you met my mom. My mom and sister came to Baltimore, and we took them to McOshea's.
Oh, they came by the house. I do remember. I remember
Yes.
that as well. They came to the house. So I had an apartment, and there was a bar that was right by my house that I went to almost every day called McOshea's, an Irish pub. So I said, if they come in town, I'm going to take them to what I love and where I know. And they were cool with it. They came in, sister had the tall. Your mother had a drink with us. We had a good time.
Okay,
We had a good
great.
time,
So there was immediate connection.
Yeah.
I say this because you had been married before.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I think mothers and fathers are definitely, I know I would be very protective of I don't say stepdaughter, but Jessica.
Yeah.
You know, when we first met her now husband and great guy, you know, you always got your little eye protected.
Yeah.
So, just like we knew he was a good guy as well, or is
Yeah.
a good guy. So,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great.
You can tell.
I guess I felt that from your mother a little bit. But it's also because not knowing Amber at the time, Amber's a wild child. She does what she wants to do when she wants to do it. So they were thinking, like, what's Amber doing again? But I think after they saw that I was around for a while, I became a part of the family.
Yeah.
If you ask
We've been very blessed. Like, we haven't had any family drama. Everybody's gotten along.
Yeah.
Our families sometimes do holidays together. My dad
Absolutely.
has came to your
My dad's come
mom's.
to my mother's
Everyone's came to
house,
Puerto Rico.
which was awesome. We had awesome.
Yeah.
awesome
We think my dad
holidays.
actually might have had a little crush on his mom.
No, I don't think that.
Really?
She said that. I don't
How would
think
that have worked out?
Yeah,
It would have been
I
weird.
figured it out.
But they liked each other.
Yeah,
They had
they
a
had a
good
good
time
time.
together.
They connected. That's
Yeah, they
good.
did.
Yeah.
They did. They were cool.
I didn't get the pleasure to meet your father as well. But
He's just like Mike. So actually,
Really?
that's why
Military
everyone
man,
loves
too.
Mike.
military man?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, so we'd have definitely bonded there.
Yeah. So, yeah. But he's just like Mike.
So how ironic. Your father was military as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And your father was military. Okay.
Both stationed in Germany.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys talk about that. You went back to Germany together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Many times.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You've been several times. At the time, to visit your father?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So he got, all right. How was it about meeting his dad?
His dad is a trip. So his dad is like Mike on steroids. Like
Really?
he is so outgoing and so boisterous, and he's a trip. So yeah, it was like a little overwhelming actually, but
Really?
we had a good time.
But it was all love when he
Yeah,
came
it's
through
all
and said,
love.
"You were my
and
son." It
his,
was all
and he
love.
married a German woman, and she's great. And she came to Puerto Rico to visit us.
Yeah,
So
we're gonna visit.
yeah, we had
Okay.
a really good family.
That's perfect. He has schnitzel? Is that
Yeah,
what they call
that's
it?
schnitzel, palm treats. Yeah, she's had it all.
I haven't had all the schnitzel and
You
stuff.
know,
I
'cause
don't
you
eat
don't eat
that,
the meat,
but
but
I was going to say, you
Been
ate
there.
schnitzel? Okay.
Zucchini though, the zucchini
zucchini.
bread you had there.
Yeah.
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 So let's switch up for a second. So you guys dated for a while.
A long while. Should tell you a
Dated
long
for
while.
12 years before we got married.
Which one of y'all needed to know if it was the right one?
Well, we were living together. We knew.
Now, here's the thing. When she tells people that, she says, we dated for so long before we got married. For some reason, she doesn't recall saying she doesn't want to get married. She told me that many times.
Well, I just said we had Jalen. We're not going to have more babies. We knew that. So, like, there's no reason to
I
get
didn't know
married.
that. I want more babies.
You had your chance and you should have got married.
No, but that was the thing, though. And she would tell me that ad nauseum. Like, you know what? I don't necessarily need to be married.
I was like, I know you're my person.
That's exactly what.
Yes.
You know what? I know you well. I was going to say, you said you're my person.
Yeah.
And I understood that. I believed that. So that's where we were.
Yeah, so the legalities of it all didn't matter.
Didn't matter. You guys, as far as you're concerned, you were married anyway.
Yeah.
So I want to go back a second because you talked about this when we were just sitting around talking. When you met Mike at the grocery store, it was a push from your girlfriends about putting yourself back out to meet people. You want to talk about that a little bit?
So I had went on a girls' trip the weekend prior with my Mandy, that you know, and Stephanie, my two best girlfriends I grew up with. And I had just recently been divorced, had a 2-year-old daughter. And at the time, I was taking the train to D.C. every day to work. And there's this guy in the train that was trying to talk to me.
Okay.
And I said, I'm not ready to be dating. And I said, no, I don't want to give him a chance. I don't want to date. And they said, well, when you see the right person, you need to give him a chance.
Right.
You know, you need to put yourself out there. And so in the back of my mind, I kind of heard them telling me, like, you know, if you see somebody that might be a good guy.
Give it a shot.
So it gave me a little push. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about how that push transpired in your life. So if you would, take me back the best you can remember? I know you want to try something to get your memory back a little bit more.
Yeah.
We won't go into that.
Yeah, it's a whole other podcast.
Take us back to Mother's Day 2020.
So yeah, I don't remember anything from that day.
How did they start out? Do you remember that at all?
No, I don't remember getting dressed. I don't remember what clothes I had on. I don't remember anything.
Well, I don't remember clothes.
You know the last thing I remember?
Yeah.
We stayed the night at his mom's house because it was Mother's Day weekend. And I can remember sitting on the floor in your mom's living room stretching, like having my legs out and stretching as we were watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. That's the last thing I remember.
So after that evening, you said you weren't feeling well. You said your stomach was hurting. So you went to bed early. You don't
I don't remember that.
You said you weren't feeling well. You would always get
I
headaches.
probably had some cakes and pies. We were at your mom's
She
house.
likes sugar.
She
Yeah.
likes to feed us. Yeah.
So you said your stomach was hurting. You had a little headache. So you said you wanted to go lay down. Because normally what we do is at our mother's house, we go to the TV room. She'd fall asleep. Either we sleep in there. And I say, baby, it's time to get up, and she'd go to the bed. One or the other, right? But this night she wasn't feeling well. She said my stomach hurts. So I'm going to lay down in the bed. We laid down. The next morning you still weren't feeling well too. But so it's a tradition for us on Mother's Day to actually go to our family gravesite and put flowers on all the ladies'
Okay,
graves.
so that's where you were going.
And then we were on our way there. We were actually going to, I think it was a Dollar General to pick up fake flowers or something, right? And so we got up in the morning. She still wasn't feeling well. We got ourselves together, got in the car. We go to the Dollar General or the dollar store, whichever one it was. And we were crying, laughing about something, Mr. Mike. When I tell you we were crying, laughing, all four of us were in the car. We're dying laughing.
So I'm driving.
Yeah, she's
His
driving.
mom is sitting next to me in the passenger seat.
I'm in the
and
back seat, and my daughter and I are in the back seat, and so we're just dying laughing, and all of a sudden, you hear a guttural sound from Amber. She goes, ah, and puts her head back, and in that moment, for whatever reason, her body tenses up, and she hits the gas. When she hits the gas, she drives through the light and drives all the way across all the lanes.
Over
Now,
4 lanes of traffic.
No, I say 8 lanes. She said it's 4
It
lanes.
was 4.
But we got to go back.
You
and
always
check.
exaggerate. What do you mean? We drive by there all the time.
I
It's
think
four,
it's 8
every
lanes.
time I tell you
The
it's
blind
4
guy thinks
lanes.
it's 8 lanes. So we go across. She drives across. We hit a ditch.
You know how there's a little ditch sometimes between the curb and the house, like in the
Yeah,
A little
yard?
gully area.
Yeah.
So thank
exactly.
goodness that was there because
Yeah.
it slowed us down.
So she hits
But
the
we
ditch.
hit a house head on,
We
a
bump
brick
up to
house.
the ditch, and then we hit the house. Hit the house head on.
God.
And luckily it wasn't the front door. It was the side of the house. But we hit a bush, and we hit the house. Car starts smoking. My mother's screaming. Jalen's screaming. Jalen's not a very vocal person, but she was freaked out. So Jalen was screaming. So I had the mindset to get Jalen and my mother out of the car first, because my mother was freaking out.
Right.
So I get them out of the car, get them safe. But the car started to smoke bad. And I realized I had to get Amber out of the car. So I went around to the other side of the car. They couldn't open the door because the bushes weren't away.
Yeah.
So I had to break the bushes and pry the door open. So I opened the door and I pull her out of the car. But when I pull her out of the car, she was no longer breathing. She didn't have any life in her. Wow. And in my mind, I didn't realize in the moment she had taken her last breath. So her body was just kind of limp. I lay on the ground. And somehow this lady comes out of nowhere, pulls up, and starts administering. Before I can even count on the ground for less than 20 seconds, the lady's there.
Man.
Starts administering CPR. Yeah, so I was giving her CPR. Hitting her in the chest, hitting her in the chest, hitting her in the chest. So I'm just standing. When I go check on Mama, I come back, and the ambulance comes up. Fire station.
That quick too.
That quick. This is all in the matter of 4 or 5 minutes.
Wow.
If that.
That never happens.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
that long, Mr. Mike. So the lady, when I drop her down on the ground, the lady, she must have saw what happened. She jumps out of the car. She's giving her the CPR. Then the fire station comes up. And so the guy comes over, my mother's like, she's going to be all right. She's going to be all right. And he said, I remember him saying this. He said, well, ma'am, I really don't know. But what I can tell you is, if they're still there, that means they're still working on it. She has a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we saw that they hit her with the paddles. They did that on the ground. They hit her with the paddles.
Which is the reason I'm lucky to be alive, because only 5% of people who have a cardiac arrest outside of a hospital survive. Wow. And the reason it's such a low survival rate is because you have to have your heart restarted within 7 to 10 minutes. So the fact that that fire station was right there. Like, is a miracle. Yeah.
So it was a blessing.
Yeah.
No, truly a blessing. Before we move on to what happened next, because you don't really remember much about that. Mike, you and I spoke, and you talked about your blindness helped you because you really didn't know how bad she was.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't know how bad. Nor did not that I. Not only did I know how bad she was, I didn't tense up in the moment when we were driving. And it's not like I saw the house. I didn't know we were going to hit a house. I just knew I was trying to hold her
Right,
and open up her airway.
right.
Right. So I'm in the front. And what's so crazy is I hadn't driven in so long. I'm looking for the brake in the middle.
Yeah.
Because you remember back in the day,
Emergency
brake.
the emergency brake
Big
was in
old-
the middle.
yeah.
So I'm trying to find the brake and pull it up, and it's not over there.
Was the car still running?
The car was still running. Yeah, yeah. So while we were driving, I was trying to pull the brake up.
Okay, yeah.
While I was driving, but
Oh,
the emergency
when
brake
she
wasn't.
started.
Yeah, the emergency
Wasn't
brake
there.
wasn't there because that's what I remember. I never thought about it. Just in the moment, my body was like, okay, pull the emergency brake. So I had one hand on her and one hand on trying to pull the emergency brake. Then I was paying more attention to her because I should ride with a seatbelt, but I didn't have a seatbelt on that day. So yes, when it hit the front of the mess. And I think me in that moment not being able to see her because she probably had changed colors too, right?
Yeah, I would imagine.
It gave me a moment to do what I need to do and not freak out.
And not freak out.
Yeah.
Do you remember what I said to you when you told me that?
Well,
When you told me that story, I think the first thing I said, because I didn't know that Mike is so active, he golfs, he probably shouldn't be driving a golf cart. But
yeah, but I do. I do, yeah.
he's very active. He does not let his disability slow him down at all. So my question to Mike was, Mike, do you consider your blindness to be a disability? He said, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I said, in that instance, I looked at it as your disability being your superpower.
Superpower, yeah. Yeah.
And you were able to, because you couldn't freak out, because mama was probably hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And probably went immediately into prayer.
She called everyone on
prayer
FaceTime,
warrior,
her
yeah.
prayer warrior. She
Yeah.
was literally
Brother.
calling
She
everyone
called your mother, too.
at the scene, calling
Yeah,
people,
she called
telling them to
everybody.
pray.
Start praying.
Yeah.
That's right. And I believe in prayer, so,
She called everybody, yeah.
I believe that definitely, but I believe that your superpower definitely became your blindness became
You're
your
absolutely
superpower.
right, and which is rare to have moments like that where you can be the one to take charge.
Right.
Because it's very few moments where people look at me as a person like, oh, listen, the blind guy can do it, right? But
Right.
there's certain moments that transpire in life where, yeah, your blindness makes you king in that moment, and that was one of them.
But also his personality.
Yes.
He's so cool under pressure. If there is ever an emergency, I would have Mike as the person to get us out of it, no matter what. Like, he's just cool, calm, collected.
Well, remember that later on in life when it's time for me to take charge. Yeah.
I said an emergency.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Yeah.
could take charge.
Don't overdo it, Mike. Don't push it. Don't
Yeah,
push
yeah.
I got you.
Mike and I were talking earlier, and things just started. I think I mentioned this to him. I was like, "There's something that came to me, but I'm going to wait till we're together." You guys were meant to be. You said, "I walked in the grocery store. I saw this man filling on melons." Well, you didn't actually say it like that.
I was doing it. Yeah.
He was testing out the melons.
Yeah.
And something told you, no, stop, go back. And I believe, Mike, we talked about when you were shot when you were 12 years old, and then the loss of your eyesight years later. That incident that happened when you were 12 prepared you
Absolutely.
or helped you an easier, because I don't know if you ever can prepare for that, but it helped an easier transition for you when you became 24 years old and lost your sight. And then because of the loss of your sight, you meet Amber, because I don't know, well, maybe she still would have stopped, but she saw you. And then look who winds up being one of the main ones who helped save your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I truly believe that all of that was put in motion a long time back before you were 12 years old.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the paths were meant to be. And you guys, just a lovely couple. Just I keep saying that because it's true. It really is. I've listened. Now, when you go and check out some of the Love by Lee TikTok, you're gonna be cracking up laughing. I'm like, oh, Amber.
Yeah, she's a bit
I don't
much.
know why people say that.
Because sometimes when you, well, like I said before, when you articulate yourself, it's not what people expect. You're like, it could be shocking.
I just say what comes to my mind.
Yeah, that's the
That's
problem.
good. That's
the
good.
problem.
That's good though.
Yeah, that's a problem.
All right, that happens. And then what happened?
So I woke up in the hospital. This is the midst of COVID because it's May 10th, 2020. And so, yeah, so I was on a ventilator for a couple of days. I had to have surgery to repair my liver and spleen. I think were damaged from the impact. And yeah, oh my gosh, I had broken ribs. That's the worst pain. That takes like 6 months to a year to feel normal again. So I wake up in the hospital, hooked up to all these machines, and Miss Lee was there. But
Miss Lee?
yeah, because it was COVID, only one person could come at a time, so they were all taking turns.
Rotating,
So
yeah.
the time that I first remember coming to, his mom was there, and so I'm asking what happened, and she tells me we were in a car accident, and my first thought was like, oh my God.
She didn't say, girl, you don't know how to drive, did she?
No, she didn't. But yeah, but she's like, I'm like, where are Mike and Jalen? Because I'm thinking, you're here, where are they?
Right.
I'm freaking out, and so she tells me everyone's okay. So for the first couple of days, I kept asking whoever was in the room, like, where are the other ones? Like, I couldn't remember.
She had short-term, well, they said short-term memory.
Yeah, but then like on the third day, my memory was back, and Mike came in, and so he comes in, he's being very, just very doting, and you could tell he's worried about me. And he says, "Hey, do you remember who I am?" I was like, "Yeah, baby, of course." And then he's like, "Okay," and he turns around to put his cane in the corner. And I said, "What's that stick you're carrying?" And he was like, "Oh, shit."
Did you do this as a joke?
Yeah, it's a joke. And I was like, "I'm kidding." I'm like, I know you're blind.
I said, "Oh shit, oh no, Mr. Mike." That's how I knew she was crazy. When she did that, she was
Sense of humor,
she's
even
bad.
in that time of trauma.
But it was longer than 3 days, but I let her say 3 days.
You exaggerate everything. It was a few days. But I was in the hospital for maybe like 10 days total. And
That's all?
Yeah. And I think I had to prove that I could walk around the hospital ward and up and down a set of steps
And
before
that
they
was
let
longer
me
than
go
10
home.
days as well.
But I'm determined. So like if you tell me this is what you have to do to go home, I'm
But
on it.
you have to tell Mr. Mike what you decided to do from the hospital.
Yeah,
bed.
so from the hospital bed, literally, like, we just said we're going to do all the things that we've been putting off. So, number one, we're getting married. And also, that puts things into perspective when you're in a hospital room. Who do you want to make those
That's right,
decisions
'cause
for
he could
you?
not.
It would have been him, not anyone else. And so
Right.
I wanted to make the legalities did matter at that
Right.
point. We decided we're going to move to Puerto Rico because we had been there for a couple months at a time the year prior, and we're like thinking about it, but not quite ready. And so we're like, F it, let's do it.
Right.
And then I decided to start my own business because I'd been working in the matchmaking field for 20 plus years and always wanted to start my own, but never like had the nerve. So I called my employer and said, I'm not going to come back to work. I'm going to start my own thing. So we made like major life decisions
Right.
from that hospital room.
Wow. And that was because of what happened.
Yeah, I think it puts it into perspective. Like life really is short. You always say that. He always says every second counts, and it really you just realize like life is short. Like there's no reason to keep putting things off.
Right.
And shortly after that, I adopted her daughter.
Yeah,
Well,
he
our daughter
adopted
now, Jen.
Jalen.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a lot, that started
A lot.
Yeah.
Snowball effect of a lot of things.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how did this, the whole incident affect her? Because she was a teenager then.
I think she appreciates me more now. Unfortunately, you probably don't get that from her.
She's 17, so she kind of
Yeah, she's that age. I
She's
mean,
taking a leave,
she
yeah.
still gives me a lot of side eye too. But she has a good friend who lost her mom to breast cancer in elementary school,
okay.
and I think between seeing her go through that and what we almost went through, I think she appreciates me and is glad to
And
have
she
me.
also had a friend that just lose his father too, so I know
Yeah.
she
Just recently?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
in the last
yeah.
month. Yeah, close friend.
Well,
so-
she's very quiet.
Yes.
I'll see her every now and then. She'll take the Marlo, who doesn't like me, out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Marlo's their dog. I'll see her take Marlo out. But you guys have done a great job with her. I mean, she's a lovely girl to me. Now, you say she appreciates you more. You guys hung out, went to a concert. So I can't believe she wanted to go see Mary J.
Yeah, she went to
That's
see Mary
it,
J. I
yeah.
love she likes
she makes
90s
sure they
music.
do a lot of cool stuff.
That's
together.
great.
Yeah.
That's
She likes to
excellent.
get around, keep her active. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Amber. So you went through that traumatic experience, and it changed your perspective on life and on what you need to do. And you took your pain literally. Well, let's back up a second. Did they ever find out why?
No, never found out why. When I left the hospital, they put a permanent pacemaker defibrillator in my chest. So if it ever happened again, it will zap me.
Okay.
But they never found out why. think it's like an electrical issue. It's different than a heart attack. A sudden cardiac arrest has to do with the electrical current in your heart.
Okay. We talked about everything falling into place. I mean, whoever this lady was that immediately
it was
responded,
amazing, yeah.
and the emergency services right there. And Miss Lee, I'm giving you a lot of credit too. Mama Lee got on
Yep.
got the praying.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And them prayer warriors, boy, they, you don't want them against you.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yep.
For sure.
But I will say, you've met our friend Mario.
Yes.
He's a dear friend. We consider him family, like our brother. He came to your mom's house or our house, one of the houses, in the first couple months. And I was like so grateful to be alive, and I was being so kind, and I was letting Mike take care of me. And so our dynamic was very different. And Demario said, I do not like this Amber. You are way too nice. And then
He didn't like this one.
Yeah.
He needed the old one back.
yeah, and then like a year later, when I got my attitude back,
she's back.
he's happy. He said, "This is Amber."
Yeah.
See, I don't know nothing about the lovely Amber, so the TikTok shows me a little bit.
Yes. That's man. Yeah, man.
All right, let's switch gears a second. Let's go into how did that experience change your perspective, and if it changed your perspective on life and business.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just showed me that like I said, life is short. I think now, so in the last 5 years, the number of couples that we put together that are living together, engaged, married, one just had a baby. I look at that and think like, oh my gosh, if I wouldn't have started with my co-founder, Select Date Society, like these couples literally wouldn't exist. Like,
That's a great point.
It's like a huge, like a sense of gratitude and responsibility, like bringing these people together. And then, like I said, one couple just had a baby, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I did that. Yeah.
You're responsible for that.
Yeah.
That's great. Wow, that I didn't think about that, but you're right. Again, things put in motion for a reason.
Yeah.
And it all turned. I want to make sure that we talk about your business a little bit, because people hear matchmaking. What does that mean? And it's back in the day. Well, I'm about to date ourselves. We didn't have that luxury.
We went
of,
to a bar
she's
to
been
meet
doing it that
someone.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
She's been doing it that long now.
Yeah. And then when it did come out to matchmaking, it was on the computer. Let's just talk about it. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so it's high touch, really a luxury matchmaking firm. And so it's like a white glove experience for our clients. Typically, they're high net worth or high income earners. They hire us to act like headhunters for their love life. And so we're essentially a recruiting firm. Like somebody would hire a recruiter to find a job, they hire us to find them their person.
And you would think nobody does that, but they do.
They do, yeah,
They do.
absolutely. And I think amongst high profile people, it really makes sense because they want discretion. They don't want to put their picture and profile online.
Right.
They also want to meet a quality individual who they know is vetted, who they know is safe. I mean, there's just so many different layers that make dating even more complicated when you get to the level that our clients are at.
Wow, that's a great story. I mean, my son met his wife from a dating site. My daughter met her boyfriend from a dating site. Back in the day, it used to all be, well, I don't know, there's crazy people out there.
Yep.
You guys cut out that. You do
We
the
do
labor
all the
for it.
work. Yeah, we do all the vetting and making sure that people really are who they say they are.
Right. That's great. And you've been quite successful. I think you've been on the Good Morning America.
Yeah, well, actually, our wedding was featured in the New York Times and Good Morning America because I wore a black wedding dress. And so it got the attention of the New York Times and then Good Morning America. So that was fun.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Mama Lee.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, Miss Lee.
Yeah.
Mama Lee. How did she deal with the black wedding dress?
She wasn't a fan at first.
she
Neither
was
of our
like,
moms
And
were.
they were like, why would you do that? I was out of it, so it was what it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool, personally. I said,
Yeah, I saw the pictures, and it did. I'll be honest. I saw your wedding pictures, and it never dawned on me that you had a black.
It was a pretty dress. It wasn't like a black. I mean, it was black, but it was like lacy and
it was nice.
but we
Tasteful.
Again, we had been dating for 12 years. We had a child. It wasn't important to have a traditional white wedding dress. White's not my color. I'm pale. I don't look good in white. I wanted to look
What's it
good.
mean when you wear white?
What?
What's it mean when you
Means
wear
you're a virgin. I clearly wasn't a virgin. But our moms were not that excited about it, but I think they loved it. I think it all came together. We had all of our family members were black.
Puerto
So,
Rico,
yeah,
yeah,
it
it
was
was
beautiful.
Yeah, I saw the wedding pictures. Again, I say that about your mom because growing up in the South,
Yeah.
You know,
very
that was
traditional.
like, you doing
Traditional.
what?
Yeah, she's very traditional.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she was on
They
board
came
when she
together.
saw
It was
it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And she looked beautiful too. Her mother
In fact,
looked
did she
beautiful.
wear black dress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our
Her
moms
mom
both
was
wore
black.
black
Yeah,
dresses.
so it was beautiful.
They did. It was a beautiful picture of you guys. Has your definition of work-life balance changed since your cardiac arrest, or has it?
It hasn't changed. I'm not gonna lie. I know you're gonna keep me straight. I work all the time, but Puerto Rico has changed it because even though I work all the time, we're in such a beautiful place. I make time to do other things. We golf now.
Sure.
We go to the pool. Like we love
Try to go to the
life.
pool.
We
You don't
have
go
so
to the
much
pool
fun.
as
Yeah.
much as you would like to. But
Right.
Yeah.
But don't you
It's a
think
tan
that Puerto Rico has changed? Both
Absolutely.
of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been an added pleasure in our life for sure. I think it's still stressful. Life is still stressful, like anybody else's life. But I think it cuts down on the level of stress because you're in paradise. It's such
Right.
a beautiful place, and there's so many things to do. But that's why every year we have people come in town around the holidays to join us and kind of take our mind away from work, and so we can kind of
Yeah.
chill out
Just
a little
celebrate
bit.
the new year coming in every year.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. You gotta find a balance because we're gonna all leave one day and they'll
Right.
replace you. They'll
Yes.
replace us. Now you're the CEO, it's gonna be
Right.
hard to replace you. But just make sure. I was going to ask about health. I think I see you walk a couple times. What do you do to keep your health?
I was really good at walking for a while. I
Yeah.
need to get back into it. I haven't been as good about walking as I should be. But yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I need you to stay healthy.
Yeah.
I need you to stay my neighbor. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. No,
Yeah.
no. I want what's best for you guys. What makes you guys happy? Because you're an amazing, loving couple. When people see this are in Puerto Rico, I don't need to tell you who they are because you'll know they're either winning that trivia up in Roberto. Mike is either golfing and or waiting for Philly to show up for golf.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or Mike is at the open mic singing.
No, that's you.
And
That's-
doing
Yeah,
things.
both of you.
That's truly Mike Unplugged.
Yeah. All right, let's have a little bit of fun. With a few questions. Actually, before we have a little bit of fun, Amber's probably going to get on me about this one, Mike.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go out on a limb on this one. If you would, tell us a little bit about the time you had to call me to come do something.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead. Yeah, she got that one. That's all her.
You want to tell us, Amber?
Oh, I'm glad that one of the mics is handier than the other. So in Puerto Rico, your condo is above ours, well, above and over, but we're on the bottom level. We did some remodeling. I bought these pretty crystal doorknobs, and the crystal knobs kept coming off. I thought I was a genius by getting Gorilla
Super
Glue
glue, yeah.
and putting it back on. I did it at night. The next morning, I come to check it. I'm just wearing a t-shirt, no bottoms. Early in the morning, I go into our half bathroom and I check the outside and say, oh, it's turning. I don't know why I went to the inside and shut the door before checking it. I shut the door and it wouldn't turn. I didn't. Yes, I locked myself, glued myself into the bathroom. I didn't have my phone with me. I'm pounding on the door.
She's hollering.
Screaming.
I said, what is that I hear? What is that? I thought it was outside. She said, Mike, I'm locked in the bathroom.
Now, I didn't hear this at all. I couldn't
But
hear it.
First of all, I knew she was kind of losing herself. I said, calm down, baby. I got you. Because normally I can open the door. Normally I can use like a credit card or a butter knife.
He
and
was
slip the lock.
trying.
Because I said, oh, she's locked me out of the house.
Yeah.
She's locked me out of the bedroom. I said,
Yeah,
"Lock."
he used
I
to
said,
do
I
it
got
all
you.
the
I'm in
time.
here. She
And
was
I'm like, I
laughing.
know you can do this. Get me out of here.
Yeah. So she said, I know you can do it, baby. So I'm trying, but the glue was stuck on the inside. Something was like, it was just too stuck, right? So I said, oh man, what are we gonna do? She said, I can't breathe. I
It's
said,
a little
baby.
bathroom.
Not that little.
I
It's
said,
hot. I was like, I felt
I said, you haven't
claustrophobic.
been in there that long, baby. She said, I can't breathe. She said, I'm taking short breaths.
I was not.
Yes, you were.
I was
You didn't
not.
tell the truth.
No, but I was like, I'm freaking out. Get me
You
out
didn't go
of
like
here.
this?
No.
Yeah, she takes short breaths.
And I was like, go get Mr. Mike. He's like, hold on, let
I
me
said,
try
hold
one
on,
more
let me
thing.
try
I was
one
like,
more
go get Mr.
She
Mike.
said, go try
now."
something. You can't do it, Blindy. Go get Mr. Mike. So I said, all right. So I hollered at Mr. Mike. He said, I'll be down. I got you. I said, Mr. Mike, she's kind of freaking out, so be cool. He giggled a little bit. He said,
No, man.
You got it. But the first thing you tried, you said, hold on, I have to go get something else.
Yeah.
You had to go back to get another tool,
Yeah,
and I
she
was
said-
losing
And
it.
she said, go get Jayla so Jayla can calm me down. I said, it's going to be all right, baby. It's going to be fine. And then the funny part was when Mr. Mike finally got the door open, he said, Amber, are you decent?
I got a towel over my legs. I got a towel over me.
Well, I didn't see her. She had the lights out, so it was dark. I was thinking when I got the door, the knob to turn, the natural response is to push it open.
Absolutely.
And I started to put, I said, oh.
Are you decent?
And were you
He's a
decent?
gentleman. He's a gentleman.
Then I was like, wait a minute, it's open. Okay,
Yeah.
so.
That was so funny, man.
So thank you so
much.
goodness you
Oh,
saved
yeah.
me.
Yeah. He's the best neighbor ever. The
Yes.
best neighbor ever.
That was funny. You should have known I was going to bring that up.
That was hilarious.
I forgot.
That was a great moment.
All right, let's have some fun for both of you. Quick questions before we close this.
Yeah.
This is for both of you to answer. If you could describe your partner in 3 words, what would that be and why?
You could go first.
You go first. I don't know.
Talkative.
Damn.
I love this going to be first.
Yeah.
No, I would say kind and beyond generous. Yeah.
Okay.
Driven. Studious, because she's always learning. Always learning. Whether it's reading, whether it's podcasts, which is true. Studious. And a mother. I think that's important too, her being a mother.
Okay, I love those answers. I
Yeah.
love them. What's one thing you've done together that you'll never forget?
Yeah. We gotta say it at the same time because I know what we're
I
gonna
know
say.
mine is German.
Greece. Oh, no, I guess
No.
that's wrong.
You know what-
Germany at your father's
You know what
house.
I'm saying?
Yes.
Exactly. Greece is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my wife.
That was all one trip.
My
though,
wife
so.
moves every 2 years. My one move is gonna be Greece. I'm getting a place in Greece some way, somehow. God willing, I'm gonna claim it. I'm gonna claim it right now. I'd like to live in Thessaloniki, Greece. But for me, my greatest moment with my wife, that was the greatest place we visited.
Yeah.
But the best time I've ever had, and it's simple, was laying in a little baby bed in my father's house and talking to the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
That was
It
great.
was a futon,
Yeah.
little twin futon bed. It was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we would have so much to talk about at the end of the day. So his father and his father's wife would go to bed and we would be in there talking and giggling. And literally the sun would be coming up at like 5 or 6 in the morning. And I'd say, we have to go to sleep. We have stuff to do tomorrow.
Every morning
And so
she's
we get a
like,
few hours of sleep
Every
before
morning
they
she
wake
sees the
us
sun
up.
up. She said, oh my God, we're going to sleep. The sun's coming out. Yeah.
But
that
we
was fun.
giggled so hard that
Oh,
trip.
man, we had a
Yeah.
ball, baby.
Wow, that's an excellent memory. All right, who's the better cook?
I would say me.
Definitely me.
I haven't cooked in 20 years.
Yeah, so definitely me.
I was hoping Amber was going to say it was
I'd
her.
say me. It was her. It's her for sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
She throws down.
All right, good. All right, if your life is a movie or a soap opera, what would the title be?
Love is blind.
That's it. There's only one. Love is blind. Yeah.
That's easy.
That's
Oh,
easy,
that was
yeah.
pretty easy. Okay, I like that.
Or the blonde leading the blind.
The blonde leading the blind.
The blonde leading the blind.
Yeah.
You guys discussed these movies. Are you
Yes.
writing
we did a TikTok about this. Somebody
Yeah.
said you
Oh,
should
really?
have a reality show, and we said, what should it be called?
Yeah.
So we were
It's always
like,
been Love is blind, but when they said, she said that, the blonde leading the blind, I thought that was great. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Well, this next question we've already talked about was the bathroom. We should talk about that again. No.
Yeah, that's hilarious, man. Hilarious.
All right, question for both of you. What legacy do you hope to leave?
Yeah. Go ahead, babe.
I really hope to leave a legacy for my daughter, just to inspire her that as a woman, that she can do anything that she puts her mind to. Yeah.
right.
To me, it's about servant leadership. That's what I want to leave for our daughter. That, yeah, to be a leader, but also serve too.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's it. It's simple for me, servant leadership. Because that's the duality of Amber and I. She's, and I was too for a long time. I was very driven about positions in life, because that's what I was taught. And Amber will tell you that. My mother's always been very proud from what I've done in the community and the positions I've held, whether professionally or whatever, right?
Right.
She was, she's like, titles meant a lot for my family, right? But after I lost my vision and started doing other things, and I realized that really means nothing. For me, I can only speak for myself. Not
Right,
somebody.
I agree.
And Amber understands that about me. But what I've learned, when we talk about a purpose-driven life, what drives me is service. But I also, when Amber balances me out, we can't serve unless we have the money to serve too.
Oh yeah, so working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's where we balance
Yeah.
each other
Right.
out too. So yeah, but for me to answer that question is servant leadership. Yeah.
Okay. What would you tell people, because both of you have amazing stories, and you both have taken your pain and turned it into your purpose and your why. What would you tell people about turning their pain into their purpose?
That's a great question.
I think that I really do believe everything happens for a reason. So even like I see these kids, like Jalen's friends, she has one friend who lost her mother to breast cancer. No one else is there to raise her. She lives in an old folks home with her 80-some-year-old grandfather.
Wow.
And this girl, like, she's an amazing kid. And I feel like she doesn't see it within herself. And I know someday she will. Like, she has a story to tell. Right. She has a story. Same with Tyler, the other kid at her school. Absolutely. Who really has no adult watching out for him. He literally is just like staying wherever every night and getting himself to school every day. And like, he's got a story. And so I forgot what your question was. What was your question? Turning your pain into purpose.
Telling people about.
So I think that a lot of people that have been going through stuff, you feel like you're alone. Number one, everyone's going through something. But also, I feel like we have a responsibility to share what we went through to inspire other people. Like what you're going through, you can change somebody else's life by sharing your story.
That's right.
And for me, what I just thought of is, so there was a show I was watching for a moment in time. It was called C. Remember that?
Yes.
With Jason Momoa on it. It was about a blind community, right? Just this whole, something that happened on Earth, and all these people lost their vision, right? But they had sighted people in the world, but they really didn't know who the sighted people were. And the sighted people were trying to come back and bring education back and books and all these other things to kind of help humanity. And there was a moment where there was a guy who had a wife, but it came out that the wife had children by another guy. All this crazy stuff, right? And there was an elder within the community, an elder lady, and they were walking. They were talking about it, and the lady could feel the guy's spirit, that he was broken because he found out that the wife that he had, the husband that came back and tried to get the kids because the kids were actually sighted, but he still wanted to take care of his children. Those are his kids, and she told him, you got to step through your pain, and that resonated with me. So sometimes you got to step through your pain. So that would be my answer. You got to step through your pain, get on the other side of it, and keep moving forward.
That's great. That's a great word right there.
Yeah.
Amber, you hit on something that I had talked about, and it's funny. It's in a video that I did. It's in Mike and I talking, and now you bring up the same thing. And it was something I read, and it simply said, and I thought it was right on point. It simply said that by sharing allows others to realize that they're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's true.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, look, guys, it's been an amazing. That's my kids tell me, Dad, everything's amazing, because it is.
It is. This has been amazing.
You're amazing. You're amazing.
Yes, you are amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you for having us.
Oh, you guys have no idea. They flew in to be here with me on this podcast. They are my first in studio guest. I couldn't think of anyone better that I would love to have. I love you guys.
Love you too.
It's an honor and privilege to be here.
Yeah, more than just my neighbors, you're my friend. I consider you to be my family. And I just want to tell all of you, share this episode. These are amazing stories. And I truly believe that you can take your pain and turn it into your purpose. So until next time, come back and join Mike Unplugged, igniting your future. Take care.